Hey everybody, I'm Tanner Knight. Welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. Today we are talking about hi-hats. So I've got all three of my preferred sets of hi-hats. Every single one of these is a Zildjian Custom A baseline cymbal, but beyond that they're actually very different. We have a 13-inch, a 14-inch, and then another 13-inch. My preferred size for hi-hat actually is 13-inch. I think that it gives all of the projection and sound, and it's actually a little tighter. And I just like the sound better than a 14-inch hi-hat. So we have two 13s and one 14. But the Custom A version that we have, let's start over here, is the Mastersound hi-hat. This is a 13-inch Custom A Mastersound hi-hat. This middle one is kind of hard to determine. I think it's just a regular Custom A. I'm sure there's some other designation, but all of the logos have been worn off, and there's just a faint marking on the bottom of the cymbal where you can actually see that Custom A. But it is an Avidus Zildjian Company genuine cymbal made in the USA. So it's a 14-inch Custom A, just regular Custom A cymbal hi-hat. And then this is my primary hi-hat over here. This is the Custom A 13-inch pocket hi-hat by Zildjian. And it's got very unique, hammer strikes. I don't know if you call those hammer strikes or just indentations due to their pounding implement. But it has its own very unique sound. Again, it's 13-inch, but it is a Zildjian Custom A, the pocket hi-hat. So I know that I like the sound of all three of these hi-hats. This one I kind of like the least. Again, it's the 14-inch, and we'll hear the difference there. But I would like to get a side-by-side comparison of these three hi-hats on their own, and then we'll hear them in the context of a kit. So let's go ahead and just hear what these hi-hats sound like, both open and closed, and that will give you kind of an honest idea of what these things sound like on their own. And then we'll hear it in the context of a kit and hear if that makes any appreciable difference. So just a quick note about our mic setup before we hear these cymbals on their own. I tried to match these microphones as close as possible. We have an SM57, SM58, and then another SM57 on the other 13-inch hi-hat. So I don't have three SM57s. If you'd like to donate one, by all means send one over, and then we can do three side by side. But this 58 should be pretty close as far as the sound that it captures compared to the SM57s with this hi-hat. So let's hear what these hi-hats sound like on their own, and then hear them with the kit. We'll start with the Mastersound hi-hat, again a 13-inch Zildjian Custom A. Let's hear it closed first. What I love about the 13-inch hi-hat is that it gets out of the way once you hit it. It does not have a long decay. It just has a really crisp and pristine sound, and then it's out of the way. That's the hi-hat closed. Here it is open. So just a really nice sound. Let's hear the bell real quick. Kind of hard, it doesn't differentiate the sound too much on the bell of this hi-hat. That's kind of what you'll notice with the 13-inch hi-hats, is that the bells on the cymbals don't have as much ring just because there's not as much mass. But here's the bell open. So that's the Mastersound 13-inch cymbal, the hi-hat cymbal by Zildjian, and it's one of my favorites in this array. So let's go ahead and hear the 14-inch cymbal and hear the difference between the two. So with the 14-inch cymbal, this is what it sounds like closed. Here it is open. And you'll notice that the bell on this one is a bit more resonant. Maybe not so much with it closed, but here it is open. So you'll notice that this cymbal is just much louder, much noisier, and I attribute most of that to the 14-inch design, but I do think that this one doesn't have as many pounds, any divots or hammer strikes as in both of these cymbals, more so the Pocket A, but this one's a bit smoother, so I think that that makes a glassier sound and one that kind of resonates longer, and I don't know if that's a positive attribute for a hi-hat or not. I guess that'll be up to you. But for me, this one's just a little too noisy. Just rings for days and days and days. Okay, let's hear the Pocket A, and then we'll hear them all side by side, back to back, to get a better idea of the comparison. But here is the Pocket A. Again, what I love about this 13-inch cymbal is that it gets out of the way. It strikes and then it decays very quickly, ready for another sound. But the sound that it does produce is rich and warm and sounds really good. So that's probably, I don't know, I think this one might be my favorite, but this was my favorite for years. Let's hear just the bell on this 13-inch, and again, you'll hear that it's a bit more, I don't know, dead compared to the larger one. Okay, so that's what this cymbal sounds like on its own. Let's hear them right back to back to back so that we can get an idea without our memory losing track of what the other one sounded like. So just some initial thoughts. I would call this one more of like a soprano range hi-hat. It's much higher in the mix, just tonally. It has a higher tone and a higher frequency. This one's next, and then this middle one, this 14-inch, has the lowest and most noisy frequency, I would say, of all of them. So that's these hi-hats on their own. Let's go ahead and hear them in the context of a kit and see if there's any discernible differences that would be important to you if you were looking for one of these specific new Custom A hi-hats. Okay, here we are behind the kit. I have the Pocket A in place. This is the hi-hat that kind of lives with this kit, if you were wondering, but we're gonna swap them out and hear all three of them with the Tama Superstars. These are 1980 Tama Superstars, around 80, 81 maybe, hard to tell from that earlier serial number, but they are made in Japan, all birch, badass drums. So this hi-hat has been here in this position for the last couple years, so I'm interested to hear what the other ones sound like. So, capturing the audio on this single hi-hat today, I have this SM57 positioned underneath the hi-hat, so it's going to be mixed in here, but there is a dedicated mic on that hi-hat, and I don't know, we may isolate it, we may not, but let me go ahead and play something and utilize this Pocket A 13-inch hi-hat, and then we'll go around and test the other ones too. Okay, that's the Custom A Pocket 13-inch. Let's swap it out. Let's go with the other 13-inch, the Mastersound first, and then we'll finish up with the 14-inch. So next, we have the Mastersound 13-inch. Okay, we have the Mastersound 13-inch in place. Let's hear it. Damn, that sounds good. I'm leaning towards this one being my favorite one. This might live here with my primary kit for the rest of all eternity after this. We'll see. That has a much more usable bell than the Pocket A. So again, 13 inches, but it does have a usable bell. Okay, I think that gives us a good idea of what this thing sounds like in the context of the kit. Let's swap it out with our final cymbal, cymbals, the Custom A Zildjian, just normal Custom A cymbals. So here we go. Okay, and finally we have our 14-inch Zildjian Custom A cymbals, and these are very classic and very common. You'll find these on a lot of kits, so this is really kind of the more common variant that I have of all of my cymbals, just due to the fact that it's 14-inch and it's not any one of those kind of subcategories, Mastersound or Pocket. So let's hear this thing with the kit and see if we like it. So what I notice is that this cymbal here, it has a lot more just information in the sound. Like if you press harder on the pedal, you can hear that the cymbals actually change tone. Which is not the case with the 13 inches. And I wish I'd done this test with the 13 inch to prove that, but the 14 inches has a lot more bend to it. And you can hear the actual pitch of the note that's intoning from these cymbals go up as you press on the pedal. And to me, that's not a feature, that's more of a bug, because it just introduces noises into the sound that are kind of hard to chase out if you don't like them, which I personally don't like them. So I would be trying to get rid of those noises, probably through gels or something else like that. But that's something that I noticed with the just regular Custom A 14-inch cymbals and most 14-inch hi-hats in general. I don't know what kind of conclusion I was hoping to draw from this video, other than I'm pretty sure that maybe I'll switch the Mastersound for the Pocket A and rock with that with this kit for a while, and put the Pocket cymbal with my Yamaha kit, which is a little smaller and maybe a bit more custom built for that set of hi-hats. I've never noticed that that hi-hat has been lacking with this big set, but I like the Mastersound just a little bit better now that I've lived with it, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. So let me know what you think. If you have any of these hi-hats or a different Custom A that you'd like to talk about, let me know, and maybe I can find it used on the open market and add it to this kind of compendium of hi-hats. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you like this type of content. That always helps out and gives me a good direction of where to take the channel in the future. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.